This is bomb bad. What's happened to them?
It's the plague. We're definitely getting close.
Who are you?
What you doing?
Why are you here?
Again? I just did a Jar Jar episode.
That is why you fail.
Lord, whatever I did to deserve this, I'm fucking sorry. So, we're back with another adventure that, like the Zillo Beast and Barasofi, has never received a follow-up. I must admit that the concept of this episode is particularly fascinating. To know that once upon a time there was a galactic-wide epidemic with disastrous effects that didn't come from the end of a blaster is something I'd love to see implemented again in the future. Potentially for another spin-off or movie, as you could have a genuinely tense situation on your hands that could expand into something like the virus from the Star Wars Death Troopers novel in Legends. The problem here though, and spoiler for next week's review, is that they deal with it too quickly and the solution comes rather easily, and it's a self-contained escapade that bears very little consequence for the wider universe, beyond the heroes that we stick with.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
Another aspect to this that I really struggled with was to remain invested or concerned over anything, especially when all the characters involved are alive beyond this point. I don't wish to sound overly harsh towards this, but the potential of this concept feels wasted, and this fucking idiot is in it again, so it's already soured it down. One time I'm actually rooting for a virus to win. Anyway, let's remind you of what occurs and explain how I feel after. We begin on Naboo, where Padme has been called to assess a potential Seppi invasion on world, where during their interrogation of a tactical droid that they caught, Jar Jar, as per frickin' usual, screws things up and destroys the droid by causing a bunch of shells to topple on it.
God fucking damn it!
He only manages to redeem himself by his appetite telling them where the droid came from due to a butterfly revealing itself from the undercarriage of the droid. After determining where the droid came from, Padme puts a request out for support and asks for Anakin and Obi-Wan to aid them in their investigation. While they wait, Padme and Jar Jar venture out to the swamplands after receiving word that a herd of animals had mysteriously died from drinking the water, something of which we see in between all of this. They're introduced to the herder called Peppy Bao, who tells them what happened, and as they press further into the trees, they're caught by droids from underground. Sometime after, we're introduced to the man behind all this, Dr. Nouveau Vindi.
Who?
An eccentric scientist who made it his mission to recreate the Blue Shadow virus and spread it throughout the galaxy once more. He believes that the virus was a means of course correcting for the galaxy, and that it was the only thing maintaining balance, and that it was truly the victim when it was eradicated.
What? What? What?
Cut to Anakin, Ahsoka and Obi-Wan arriving on world when they're informed that Padme and Jar Jar have gone missing. Ahsoka is sent with Peppy to locate where they are, and they find the area where they were last spotted. Anakin and Obi-Wan meanwhile are informed of what's been discovered so far and tell Ahsoka to create an entry point. As they attack the base, Vindi prepares to leave but is halted by Anakin, who's then given a choice to either save Padme and Jar Jar or capture him.
That is one big pile of shit.
Anakin, of course, saves them and then goes after Vindi, while Obi-Wan is sent to locate the bombs that Vindi created to spread the virus across the galaxy. At the same time, Padme and Jar Jar locate Vindi's droid, who has a bomb of their own, and they manage to capture it and deactivate it as well. As this transpires, Anakin and Obi-Wan catch up with Vindi, and after some hair-raising moments with nearly losing a few vials that he's tossing everywhere, the fight ends when Peppy Bao intercepts him up top and he's arrested with our heroes thwarting his efforts for now. So as you can see, things really got to heat up by the end, and as a general rule, this episode itself isn't terrible, it's just not made any better by the inclusion of the galaxy's greatest dumbass. The tense exchanges between Vindi and our heroes are comically bad, but you do feel the stakes. It just falls short in my mind when you realise that it's a two-parter and it includes Jar Jar. The very idea of Vindi believing the virus to be a necessity borders on Thanos-level idealism, where balance is executed as impartially as possible, and just allow nature to take its course, whoever it is, at the expense of it. I'm grateful that Vindi was only used here, as his character became grating rather quickly, and it's certainly not one you'd want to overdo. Though I feel it would be a good fit at least for the Bad Batch right now, given the current state of things, and the ideas that they want to experiment with within the Empire. I do wonder sometimes time is what became of him, and who knows, he could show up again soon and to great effect, but just remember the limitations you have when it comes to this particular character. To see Padme and Anakin so openly displaying their affection with each other was particularly bizarre in this when you remember that it's supposed to be a secret, and to be honest, this is probably the moment that clued Obi-Wan in, as he hints he already knew by the time of Season 7.
I hope you at least told Padme I said hello.
So great work there, guys. Jar Jar is just frustrating anyway, but thankfully the other characters around him managed to keep me going through this, especially Padme, who got some excellent character work throughout this. The action sequences were brilliant, but some of the visuals were a bit rough. I mean, just look at the fucking fields. Yikes. Anyway though, I've not got much else to talk about right now regarding this without digging too far into next week's review time, so I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please bump the thumbs up, subscribe for more content down the road, and until next time, take care and may the Force be with you.